Back to the Culture Call on Praise 93.3 with L. Spencer Smith. Our desire is to reach and empower the community by discussing a cross-section of relevant topics from various perspectives that are essential to its growth and interpersonal connections. Be sure to save our call-in number, 205-752-4800. Be sure to install the free Praise 93.3 app so you can send L. Spencer Smith a message or topic idea. Search for WTSK in your app store.
This is a world premiere.
Great morning, precious people. You know what time it is. Absolutely. It's time for your favorite talk show with your favorite host, The Culture Call, right here with Bishop L. Spencer Smith, Praise 93.3 and 790 WTSK. And as always, this is the place where Tuscaloosa meets the world. And for the next 2 hours from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., we're going to be talking a little bit about everything from society to sports, education to economics, from religion to relationship. And as always, we are here to create a safe space to have empowering conversations. And guess what, y'all? Guess what? You can call in or you can get on the app and chat it up with me as we learn together right here on the Culture Call. Listen, I had something go down the wrong the pipe of my throat. Nonetheless, listen, I want to send some shout outs. Shout out number one to all of my first-time listeners. There you go. All of my first-time listeners. Welcome. Yeah, nothing's wrong. All of my first-time listeners, welcome to the CC family. If this is your first time listening in, we are glad and grateful to definitely have you. Whether you're at your desk or riding through the city, maybe you're on vacation, listen, you are important to us, and so we are glad that you are here. Listen, tell everybody, come on and listen to the Culture Call. Number two, shout out. I want to welcome all of you who are my faithful, committed, and consistent listeners. You make the Culture Call what it is today. And I am so very, very grateful for you, and most especially you. There you go. Y'all know how you swallow wrong and something goes down the wrong air pipe. Yeah, that's what's going on. Anyhow, I want to make sure that you tell everybody about the wonderful things that are happening on the show on this morning. I'm telling you, we're going to have a great conversation. And last but not least, there you go, my mentor, Brother Jay. I'm telling you, amazing. We just had a wonderful conversation, and I think I was laughing at him, and you got caught up and got this air in my throat. And listen, he is amazing, got me tickled, telling me about everything, walking me through, giving me wisdom so I can fly, and leaves me this hot baton every morning so that we can and I can continue to run on to see what the end is going to be. So guess what? I am grateful for each and every one of you. Listen, if you've not done so already, do me a favor. Go out and go to your app store on your smart device, your Apple or your Android device, and I need you to download our app, Praise 93.3, and go ahead and it's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Go ahead, open it up, and you can hear the Culture Call right now. You can hear us right now, or one of the amazing programs on Praise 93.3. You can hear Brother Jay in the morning from 5 to 10. You can hear me, and then you can hear Brother Chris in the afternoons, and then you can late night. You can hear Sister Darlene. It's a wonderful, wonderful family, and we are doing some excellent things here in the area of gospel music. And I want to make sure that you're able to get that app because there's news, events, weather, all of the things that you need to handle throughout the day. So please, ma'am, please, sir, do that for me. Also, if you've not done so, I need you to send me your public service announcements and your events to culturecall.praise@gmail.com. That's culturecall.praise@gmail.com. I need you to do that for me so I can let everybody know what's going on at your church or in your organization, your sorority, your fraternity. If you're an artist getting ready to have a concert or a preacher getting ready to run a revival, we want to let everybody know, Lottie, Dottie, and everybody, so that we can put some faces in the place so that you will know that what you do for our community really does matter. You know why? Because we do it better when we do it together. Listen, go ahead and write down the golden number, 205-752-4800. My wife is going to call me and say, why are you coughing? 205-752-4800. And go ahead and call into the golden number, or you can look up on the chat on the app, and you can hit me there. It comes directly to me during the show. Listen, I need you to follow me on Facebook. It is The Culture Call. Just press the like button, and you are following me, and I post on there. I already posted some great questions today that we're going to be talking about. There you go. And, we're going to be doing that today and making sure that we answer those questions as soon as I get over this cough attack. So go ahead and do that. And if you missed an episode, y'all, go ahead and follow me on Apple Podcasts, Culture Call, leave out the, and there you're going to find my face in all of the previous broadcasts that we have done. Listen, sit back and relax. Grab you some coffee. Hey, Maxwell House of Starbucks, you know how we do it. Maybe you're not a coffee drinker. Get you some tea, some herbal tea, chamomile if you're trying to calm down, and green tea if you need a little caffeine kick before lunch break. Maybe you don't like coffee or tea. Go ahead, y'all, and get you some spring or some alkaline water. Alkaline water. Essentia is my favorite. Get hydrated, get down to that cellular level, and detox that body. Yeah, and let's get into the culture. Today, I want to deal with a particular topic. For the last couple of days, you all, that the Democratic National Convention has been going on, and it has been phenomenal, has been exciting, exhilarating. You know, you can feel the joy palpitating through the screen of the TV. And it doesn't matter if you tune out, and I don't know how difficult that might be for you, if you tune out all of the news commentators, during the event, during the speeches, during everything, you will feel the energy. I mean, the energy in the room. And I believe that's great for America. That's great television, great for America, and great even as we proceed into this election season. As we go further, the debates are coming up. We're finished with the primaries. And so, we're going to be hearing a lot about policy, all of that. And we want to talk a little bit about that because I began to see on my timeline on Facebook and on Twitter, so many people talking about, well, I haven't heard any policies yet. And if you know my nature is to get in those comments and say, what are you looking for? Actually, to begin to just kind of, see what people's mindsets are, because I think that's very important. Because what I want to tackle today is this seemingly double standard that we have, that we're requiring one side, particularly Vice President Harris, to give to policies and to give detailed plans when she's only been running really a month, almost a month and a half now, and we have just excused the former president who's running off of 4 years plus a Project 2025 to give rallies and to stand up and just be insulting and be crass and never give a policy. He's never had a serious policy discussion since 2016. Never had a serious policy discussion. And so one of the things that I asked on Facebook this morning is there a double standard? That is there a way, or is there a reason why we are asking her to give us policies and holding her feet to that fire, but we're not asking that for the other side, that he's able to frolic, and he's able to, insult ad hominem. He's able to do all of the things other than give us policy, and then, but she must be nailed down to policies. And I find that especially insultingly among black folks a lot of times, among us, that, well, I heard no policy. Really? Are you serious? First of all, I did. I heard they pressed her on economic policy. She released that. And as she moves on, the policies are going to come out. Remember the debates. But again, I see no need for her to give a bunch of policies because, number one, she is the current VP. right? So it's not going to create too much distantiation between what has already been successful, that President Biden has already been the most successful president as it relates to economy, as it relates to jobs. And I'm talking about throughout race and all that. That one of the things that we cannot do as black and brown people is get into the snafu of the social construct of race. We know it is present. We know it deals with that. But sometimes we are harder on those that look like us, right, than we are on other people, and especially the buffoonery, right? She has 34 years of service. The former president has 34 felony convictions. And yet we're fussing about she's not giving policy. She hasn't even spoken really yet at the convention. What policies are you looking for? The conventions are not for policy. The conventions are to introduce, or first of all, to ratify the nomination of the candidate, and then for the candidate to introduce themselves, right? That's what the conventions are for. And that's what, and I hit somebody up and I said to them, I want you to stop this hypocrisy. What do you mean? Okay, glad you asked, because I wanted you to ask. I was baiting you. You listen, I ain't see nothing on your timeline asking, when the RNC was going on in Milwaukee, you didn't ask anybody what was the policy. Nothing. They distanced themselves from the policy construct that they did have when they figured out it was so unpopular, right? Project 2025. They did no policy. There was no policy, nothing there, because he's not running on policy. He's running on grievance. But here it is now. She just captured the nomination the day before yesterday, and you want her to you want her and candidate Waltz, Governor Waltz, to lay out a whole policy construct. That is a double standard. I don't have to ask, is it a double standard? But it is. My thing is, why? Why do we treat our people like that? That when we get in office, we want all these particulars and we get really scrutinizing. But when they get into office, they have, and before you say anything and before you refute that, listen, remember, history proves that to be true. History proves that to be true. That what we do understand is the man that was most successful in creating jobs in situations other than Biden was also in the room, was President Clinton, right? And not only was that, the man who was next to him that created more jobs was Barack Obama. Now, they didn't have to say anything about policy, because history has proven that when you put a Democratic president in that, the economy does better. I mean, listen, and for all the conservatives that's listening to me, that's a FACT. That's not opinion. That's not hyperbole. It's a documented fact, right? That's the truth. That out of the, since Bill Clinton, there have been 500 million jobs. Not 500 million. I think he said 50 million jobs that are 50 million jobs that have been created amongst all three of them, Clinton, Obama, and Biden. 50 million. And 50 million have been created, and only 1 million has been created by Republican or GOP presidents. So the question becomes, we're placing the onus on the party, but they ignore us. What have they ignored? Here is the deal. And I've been saying this in conversations, Culture Call, that I've been having with people. Here is the deal. We want something, people want something specifically for black people, right? Well, I mean, increasing funding for HBCUs is specifically for black people, right? Specifically for black people is the ACA, or what they used to call Obamacare, because we didn't have insurance, right? But it didn't have the black insurance plan. That's for some people, that's what they need. And we got to be bigger than the race construct of blackness that the box that they built. You know why? Because if we are not, and we don't see ourselves as those who are progressing into full Americans, right? We will stay in that box of blackness and be upset about things we don't research, right? Now, are there things they can work on? Absolutely, right? When they were doing the fair accommodations bill, right, in the 60s and the 50s, they wasn't the black accommodations bill. It was the fair accommodations bill. That Martin Luther King and all of them were just not fighting for black people, that they were in the front fighting for all people. You see what I'm saying? And so what I don't want to do is to us to get into this mentality of, it's got to be something that has African-American XYZ on it so that we can feel like they've done something for us. And I get it. They owe us reparation. I am not against that. But I told y'all in the last broadcast, I said to you, reparations from the biblical sense, first of all, has to deal with theft. Let's call a thing a thing. Reparations has to deal with theft. And theft, the Bible says, right? Theft has to deal with when you recover a thief, watch this, he is supposed to render it 7 times what he took, right? But when you catch that thief, he has to return what he took 7 times, right? Cool, right? So reparations about the theft. And this thing turns around when you catch the thief. Okay, we catch the thief, but here it is. The thief has to admit that he's the thief. Even if you know it. The thief has to admit that he's a thief, which means that there has to be repentance before repair. And we're stuck right now in the repentance phase, right? And the issue is our thing is, I want repair. We want repair. We want repair. I get it. I understand it. But who is the thief? And that's the question. That's the question. And I had a black guy on Facebook yesterday who said, well, nothing was stolen. I said, wait now. Hold it. I said, first of all, let me go and block you because because they always come to my page looking to be contrarian. And I don't mind a spicy debate. I don't mind that, because I can go toe to toe with the best of them. But what we won't do is obfuscating. We won't be ignorant, right? This country got free labor for hundreds of years. Stolen bodies, turned it to property, right? And stole free labor. The South was built. The country was built off of the black folks, off of the free labor that they gave from picking cotton and growing and all the gifts and talents you didn't pay them for, stolen inventions. We don't have to go down that historical road, right? So the issue is that you got to now get the thief to admit he's a thief in order to hold him to the standard of repair. And America, yes, they want to, America wants to rationalize their theft. They want to place some kind of heroic effort upon the thefts of black people, of the enslaved, of our ancestors, right? And while you're deifying the fathers of this country, those were slave owners. Somebody was picking an issue with Kamala Harris saying said that I'm probably the first vice president that grew chili peppers. And somebody, but no, Thomas Jefferson grew chili peppers. Thomas Jefferson, that's your argument? That's the hill you want to die on? No, Thomas Jefferson did not pick any kind of chili peppers. The slaves, the slaves that Thomas Jefferson had picked everything, did all his gardening. He didn't do any of that. The young black girl that he raped, right? Hemings, little sister Hemings, little Sally Hemings. That's what we're talking about. You can't get over that. You see, and so I say all that to say is that we have to begin to address what is really the double standard. And of course, I get that. We have to have that conversation because why? Glad that you asked. We have to have that conversation because I think once we have that conversation, we can better adjust ourselves to understand that we are being unfair to one side. And we got to begin to ask. And of course, my dear sisters chimed in and said, hey, it's because she's a woman. Black men in particular, expect more from us. And of course, I didn't want to get into that conversation because that could have led that I knew that was getting ready to lead down another road. But to some degree, I have to acquiesce and say yes. I have to acquiesce and say absolutely, because you're asking for her what you're not asking for him. And when I say him, I'm talking about Vice President Trump. That's an issue. I'm concerned. I'm concerned, but black people talking about whether Democrats have abandoned us. Well, tell me what the Republicans have done. I mean, since the Southern switch, since the great switch of the Southern strategy, where the Dixiecrats became now are the current Republicans. Tell me what the Republicans of recent have done for black folks. Since you're talking about what the Democrats have done, tell me what the other party has done. We've got more advances through the Democrats. The black people are at best independent. Yeah, at best we are morally, socially, economically. You add the list, we are independent. I don't subscribe, even though I'm a spiritual person. I am religious in terms of my faith. I believe in the Bible. I believe in Christ, but I do not believe in the God that they serve. I do not believe in American Christianity. I do not believe. I've studied too much, read too much. I know the region of the earth that the Bible was written from, right? And it really, it upsets me when somebody says, well, it doesn't matter what color Jesus is. The only reason you can say that is because Jesus has only and majorly been depicted as looking at you, right? So you already know that the sociological standard has already framed the psychology of people to make them think that Jesus was a European white man with a silk press, with long blonde hair, right? You never say anything about that. But when a level of blackness starts coming into the conversation, then you ain't serving Jesus for color. Come on, listen, that is a cop out, and that is a way to silence those. Since we don't know what he looks like, why can't he look like me? Why he always got to look like you? Why does your ethnicity, why does your race have to be the religious standard bearer? Which is why I say that I don't believe in Western Christianity or American Christianity. Now, I do believe in biblical Christianity, but because those two, Western and American Christianity, has iconography connected to that. In other words, they've made pictures, they've created art, right? And art is reflection of reality. So that means that when you created art to only look like you, right? But when people, let's say people in the region literally created art, right? And did it look like them, then you come up with the question, X, Y, Z, that the Black Madonna and Child are in the Vatican. They depict him like that even in Russian cathedrals, right? So it is a intentional move to have hypocrisy and duplicity when it comes to certain conversations, right? You want to talk about what this person didn't do for me. I'm telling you, look at what this other person says they're going to do. You're not holding them to the benchmark of Project 2025. Why are you doing it on this side? It is hypocrisy. Culture call. That's what it is. And we should be able to do better. We should be able to stand, in the middle and say, wait a minute, hold on. I can't expect from you what I'm not expecting from you. Especially if y'all are running for the same office, especially if you all are running to the same position. You feel what I'm saying? Especially if we're supposed to be doing that. Then if that be the case, then we need to have a conversation. That is important. That is important. And if we don't do that, we're going to miss an opportunity. We're going to miss an opportunity. I don't mind calling anybody to the carpet because, listen, they stand toe-to-toe with me and try to call me to the carpet, and I already know. I said, okay, no problem. Cool. You're just voting for her because she's black. No, bro. No. I'm looking at the policies. I'm looking at the track record. One of the only things that I disagree with this particular administration, is how they're handling the Israel-Gaza situation, the Israel-Palestine situation. I think they could be more nuanced, and I think they could be better and take a stronger stance against Israel. And not against Israel, against Netanyahu's, not Israel in terms of who they are as a people, but Netanyahu's fascination with genocide, right? That part. That's what I'm saying. But now they're fussing, and, these uncommitted people, are fussing at the Democrats and VP Kamala Harris for not having anybody platform, but they didn't have a platform on the Republican side. And now we're finding out that Trump is violating the Logan Act, going behind this country's back and talking to Netanyahu and telling him, do not ratify any treaty because it's going to help Biden or the other side or Harris, which is treason, but you're not saying anything about that. That part. And my thing is we have got to do better. I hope that you all are hearing me. We have got to do better. Yes, we do. We have got to do better at how we hold everybody accountable. Everyone accountable. Must be held. Let me try it again. Must be held accountable. Right? You know how bad you felt when your mama spanked you for one of your siblings and your siblings did it? But I'm going to get all of y'all. And you're like, wait a minute, hold on, I ain't do nothing. I didn't do one single solitary thing. And so, it is important. It is very, very important that we continue in this discussion to make sure that, hey, we're getting the best out of everybody and that we are understanding. Election is what? 3 months away. September, October, November. Got 2 months and some change, almost 3 months away. We need to be talking about voter registration. We need to be talking about getting in front. We need to be talking about things that's going to affect. I don't understand. I don't understand how any man, not woman, not just woman. I don't understand how any man could support, the government violating or controlling a woman's body. The government, here it is, that one side is purporting that the government is controlling your wife's body. First of all, it's not biblical. And I don't care what pastor says it is. I don't care what Christian nationalist says it is. It's not biblical. It is the husband has a rights over his wife's body, and the wife has rights over her husband's body. Not the husband and Caesar, not the husband and the high priest, not husband and Ananias and Caiaphas, Annas and Caiaphas. No, not both of them. No. See, and so they're in biblical violation in what they're trying to do in terms of controlling women's bodies. That has nothing. The marriage bed is undefiled. It is undefiled when you invite somebody else into that bed. And when the government wants to get in bed with you and tell you what to do in that bed and what you can't do and how you and your wife can, there is something wrong with that. And if you don't see that, the issue is you, sir. Yes. My bed, my wife and I, our bed is sacred to us. It is what God has given us to reproduce and to stay connected and to express love, right? For intimacy, for reproduction, for recreation, for procreation, right? That's ours. That's why our kids don't get in our bed, because the bed is ours. But now one side says the government has a right to tell you what to do in your bed. And y'all, that is patently wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It is biblically wrong, since we want to go there. Says we love what the Bible say. Okay, well, biblically, it is wrong. Listen. I got to stop right there and take a break. Listen, this is the Culture Call with yours truly, L. Spencer Smith, Praise 93.3 and 790 WTSK. Keep it right here. There's much, much more to come.
This is a world premiere.
And we are back right here on the Culture Call with yours truly, L. Spencer Smith, Praise 93.3, 790 WTSK. Listen, having an amazing conversation already this morning, y'all, and I got a little stirred up. First I was choked up, now I'm a little stirred up because I really, really want to know, Culture Call, what is this thing that we have, this double standard? Yeah, we got to call a thing a thing. I was just going through the questions on my social media this morning, and one of the questions that I did ask is, do we require Vice President Harris to give policy, or why do we require Vice President Harris and to give policy explanations and maintain decorum, but we don't exact that upon Trump? And my goodness, the responses have been it has been ridiculous, and I get it. I get it that they know that there is a double standard. And one says, absolutely, they treat Donald Trump like the special ed kid growing up. They make excuses for why he does it and says all the inappropriate things. They look for a reason to blast, tear down Kamala, just the opposite. And I am just, flabbergasted at them being that honest. And I mean, that is basically and I was really trying to elicit the honesty of those who think that, oh no, they give them the no, because I was gonna be like, no, that's not the truth, and they are telling the truth, And one man said easily so. One could argue that 45 wasn't held to a standard at all by many people. If he was, he wouldn't still be their nominee. He said whatever, and a lot of critics of Harris and critics of Biden, for that matter, said nothing at best, at worst, ate it up, right? So we are playing with a double standard. Here is another one from a woman. She said VP Harris is definitely held to a higher standard than 45. Everything she says, proposes, and does is highly scrutinized. People are more focused on her laugh than them being concerned about having a convicted treasonous felon running for the highest office in the country. People of color are always aware of the double standards that surround us. We learn quickly that we have to be twice as better to be seen half as worthy. Wow. My social media is blowing up. Listen to me. Listen to me. Go ahead and follow me on Facebook and join the conversation, because that's what our topic is today. They are leaning into this double standard. And I want to talk about that because, again, I know that we are dealing with a particular culture, especially in the South, where women are not always looked as equitable, right? And, that is something that I think is very, very important for us to talk about in this measure. I said this to a group of friends of mine. I said, I am concerned that VP Harris's presidential career could be sabotaged by men and women who are church people who don't believe that women should lead, but men who are working for women bosses, right? Your supervisor is a woman. You understand? You see what I'm saying? It's just weird the way that our minds are constructed, because we cannot get away from these particular social constructs. I don't see how anybody black could hold anybody down, considering our own history, collective history as black people. But then we go again and display the same kind of oppression and animus against each other, especially from the focus of gender and sex, and use that the same way that the institution uses against black and brown people. So I could never see that. And of course, history pans it out. That was the first licensed woman minister, Jarena Lee, that was her argument when they started the African Methodist Episcopal and African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church. Her thing was, wait a minute, hold on. You mean to tell me that you got kicked out of the white Methodist church? Wait a minute, because they didn't want you to pray with them. They didn't want you to even be in there. You got kicked out, started this movement, and now you're saying you're using the same tactics of oppression to me as a woman? Is that what we're doing? Right? And so, again, they relented and all of that. It was the same argument from our famous ancestor, Sojourner Truth. You see, the same thing. And we have to be mindful that every war that has ever been started, every economic decline, every policy that has been written by white men and supported by white women. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That there's no black woman, there's none of that. And that's what angered them in 2008 about Barack Obama. That's what angered them. And that, unfortunately, is what angers them even now. Yeah. That is what angers them now. That is what angers them now. And so I want us to be very clear when we have this conversation is that, we could be missing an opportunity because we won't change our unbiblical. Please understand that it is not biblical theology. It is not. If her husband said she could be president, not a man, I said her husband said she could be president, there is no problem. If Doug Emhoff got on that stage or said to her, no, you can't be president, I don't want you leading the country, I don't want you doing that, then he has the full right and she has to acquiesce as his wife or get a divorce. But he gave a resounding support. Resounding. She then picks another man to be her co-partner, her VP. An amazing man, by the way. Tim Walz from Minnesota, the government of Minnesota. Right? And already, we're talking about XYZ, ABC. You see what I'm saying? It is that abusive, hypocritical mindset that will keep us in a place because guess what? If liberation comes through Harriet Tubman, if she has a way to get me to freedom, I don't care what she has between her legs. If it comes through Harriet or Harry, I don't care. I just want to be free. You feel me? That's my conclusion. I don't care. Let me tell you, church. I do not care. I don't care. And so the reality is we have to start getting that kind of attitude that anything that limits us, anything that begins to limit us, we have to resoundingly say, that the whole idea of that we will not allow these petty Western European unbiblical sociological constructs to hinder us anymore. We cannot. You see? If it's going to be Mahalia Jackson or James Cleveland, I don't care who's singing the song. I just want them to win somebody to Christ. I don't care. A man ain't got to do it. Men were hiding while women were watching on the story of the resurrection. They went to make sure that the body was not stink. They made sure with their anointing oils to check and to see. The men who had followed him for 3.5 years, even though the Bible does not play highlight to that, women were with them also. They give highlight to the 12 disciples, but women, they had a whole staff. Yeah? Peter and them were hiding. Peter went back to fishing. The man just died, and you went back to your old life as if you never knew him. Talk to me. Yeah, that part. That part. And so this is what I'm saying. Right. This is what I'm saying. And so we have to begin now to crucially, to look into what need be this whole thing in our minds. It's a stronghold. You know, it's a stronghold that we really have to deal with. And I don't want us to miss an opportunity to make history, to change history, to preserve our country, because we can't get over these little things. Now, what you do in your house with your wife and your husband is your business. If you run your wife raggedy, like her name is Florence, like her name is Madge, Alice, whether you run your husband like his name is Woodrow or Jeffrey, what y'all do in your house is in your house. I don't have a right, and nobody else does, have a right to come in and disrupt what both of you all agree with. God honors the marriage, period. And what American Christianity does is says, no, we don't want to preach. We don't want to evangelize. We don't want to share the love of Christ to change the world. No, that's too much work on us, because we ourselves are not changed or transformed. What we want to do is we want to get in these governmental positions and litigiously, it's called legalism. And that's what Jesus came to break. This is what Paul speaks against, legalism. It's leaven in the Bible. That's what it's called. Legalism was a sin in the text. Right. And so American Christianity is full of legalism. Full of legalism. And we need to do something about that. We need to do something about that. Yeah. I know it. I know it's so subtle because sometimes we don't necessarily preach on it. But can I tell you that love is stronger than legalism? And have we not read the Gospels? Have we not read that? That Jesus could have chose legalism, but he chose love. Put down your rocks, sir. I know what the law says, but this is about a life, right? And you don't have a right to stone her because, you got something in your closet too. That part. And so that's important. That is so important. And see what that matter is. And if we don't do that, we're going to miss an opportunity to change the world. Our children, our grandchildren would ask us, what in the world were y'all doing? How did y'all miss that? And the best you're gonna have to say, I couldn't let no woman lead me. What? No man leading you either. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Do you understand? Only 4 people out of 44 who worked in the staff and administration on the cabinet of the former president have endorsed him. 40 people have not. No former Republican presidents, and they are still alive. Right? No power brokers. Any of them in the Senate that did not even come to his convention to endorse him. None. Because they're trying to figure out, how can I be Republican but wish him away? That's how they're doing it. They're doing it in the dark of night. That part, you see. And so I think that is very, very important. We have to begin to understand that, Culture Call, that we have got to let go of our old ways, our old thinking. That's what we have to do. You hear me? Yeah, that's what we got to do. We cannot let fear and hatred and division win. We've got to begin to embrace the full humanity of everyone. Let me say that again. Everyone. You see what I'm saying? You got to be able to do that. And if you don't do that, then we're going to be hard up. We're going to be hard up in the next 4 years if we have another election. Oh, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, listen, he's already had one try. We saw how that happened. I, for the life of me, do not understand. Y'all, help me. My mom used to say in my meager education, I know I'm not the smartest man, so help me. Maybe I'm missing something. How do we go back to the person who couldn't even handle COVID? Made the weirdest suggestions, tried to hide it, act like it didn't affect him, on a balcony trying to die because he wants to be an authoritarian. He wants to be a despot. He wants to be a dictator. How do we do that? How do we do that? Who's been caught for fraud and rape? How do we go back and let somebody be the president again? How does that even work? How does this even, I don't understand. I don't want to wake up the morning after the election and said we did not do our best or to hear any drivel. You see, because again, I heard some of the same stuff about when in 2008. I heard the same things in 2008 with Barack Obama from my own people that they couldn't get it. At least he was a man. Oh, but they say he. Educate yourself, sir. Ma'am, educate yourself. John McCain was in a political event, and this lady came up. He said he's a Muslim. He don't believe it. And John McCain took the mic back and said, ma'am, nope, he's a good American. He's a Christian. Don't do that. That's not even what this is about. So I'm not going to let you. And took it out of her hand because he wasn't afraid. He wasn't feckless. He wasn't buying into the trope-isms of what divides and separates us. That's right. We just have a difference of how the country should be run. We have an ideological difference, but he loves this country just like I do. These are not the same days, and the two ain't even comparable. And that's what this Democratic National Convention is showing that it's not even comparable. It's not even a comparison there. And yet there are many people who are still in the middle. And that is a shame, and holding her feet to the fire while they're giving him a pedicure. Yeah. We're going to talk about it some more. Culture Call. Keep it right here. Give me a break. We got to get some, yeah, we got to get some sense. Yeah. But listen, the Culture Call right here with yours truly, L. Spencer Smith. I want you to keep it right here. Keep it locked. There is so much more to come.
This is a world premiere.
And we are back right here on the Culture Call with yours truly, L. Spencer Smith. Praise 93.3 790 WTSK. Listen, we are having a great day. Want to welcome to my second hour. Welcome all of our listeners that are joining us just at the 11 o'clock hour. Yes. Welcome to the CC family. And we have been having an amazing conversation. And I'm using my social media today to help me out with this conversation. Is there a double standard between the former president and VP Harris, former President Trump and VP Harris, in terms of levels of expectation? And I think that this is very, very important to talk about, especially in our community, because we do certain things and we hold people's feet, certain people's feet to the fire that we allow other folks to get away with, right? That, for example, if we had allowed President Obama to have the same criminal record and background that former President Trump had, there is absolutely no possible way we would have ever supported him, ever voted for him in the primary, ever become president. The same folks. If Michelle had the same CV, and that is to say it nicely, that the former First Lady Melania had, there is absolutely no way. If Michelle had opposed in jet, not even, listen, if she was a jet beauty, y'all remember jet beauties, if she had done that, not just in a porn magazine, I'm talking about if she was just that, we would have, when I tell you, right? And so there is an expectation there that is sorely unhealthy. There is an expectation there that is not only imbalanced, improper, just for the lack of a better word, inappropriate, that we need to come to bear with all of that. I think we really, really, really do. And if we don't do that, folks, if we don't do that, we're going to run into only electing people and having the same level of arguments. Always. The same argument, always about the same things. And that's going to be a travesty. I'm talking about a travesty. Because, again, we know it's happening. We know it's happening. Look, one person said, one of my fellow classmates has a podcast and literally said that 45 is misunderstood, that Trump is misunderstood, and that he goes to the rallies to hear the truth because the news spreads lies. Are you serious? His platform addresses the initial historical foundation of how the Democratic Party didn't want black voters and how 45 and Republican Party has shifted more investments in our community. I can't stomach none of it, but he had a massive following, has a massive following, and folks in his world support him. That is patently false. That is so false. Right. you know, and it's funny. It is hilarious. It is hilarious. And so, I mean, and we are making excuses. Now, we don't mind our pastor doing this, but don't let the pastor down the street do it. Then we got so much to say. I wonder how a man in a cloth could do such a thing. Yeah, but when your pastor doing it, huh, church? When your pastor is doing it, it's something totally different. And these are the things, again, that we have to talk about. Because if we do not, we're going to end back up in a place where we are getting the short of the end of the stick, getting promises that are never fulfilled. That's my caution. And that's my care. That, none of the attributes that when you really do research, not what, everybody, your man said, well, the media made Trump racist. No. The 70s judicial court said that he was. See, the art of someone who is a shyster and a conniver is they have the ability to make you really believe that you are valued. That's why I was really impressed and really shook, really. Not impressed. Impressed is too less of a word. Shook when the person, his white personal staff really close to him said that he laughs at the people that are voting for him. He said that those are people that are stuck in their basements. That this is a person that's in the room. And watch, he's not refuted it. Because everything else he's refuting. When you talk about him, he'll refute it. But here, in terms of in a Hollywood histrionical kind of way. But when you say something that's fact, he don't touch it. He tries to distance himself from it. And it is quite embarrassing. It is quite embarrassing that we are, he gave to this, he gave to this. No, one of the things that when you find a person who is Machiavellian, they have no loyalty, but expect it. When they got deep pockets, that they'll pay for whatever is going to give them leeway, what they believe. So they'll donate to a campaign, they'll give to an organization as long as that they can hold that against that organization when it comes time for something that is for them, for their advantage. It's a bribe. It's flattery. And one of the things is that, you know, a man who will tell you that he's not easily offended if you tell him the truth, will stay away from being that kind of an individual. You really can't tell him the truth. His staff is right now that they're saying that, yeah, he's not telling the truth. You can't tell him the truth, so everybody's placating, everybody's tiptoeing, because they don't want, you know, to be the next object of his desire. Every person who is around him, even his vice president, said that he would be America's Hitler. And then he got offered something. And now everything, oh, I was wrong. I didn't mean that. Okay, all right, I see. That's what we playing. That's the game we playing today. That's what we doing today. Yeah, I don't understand. And I think it's a love for the caricature. It's a love that he says what he wants to say, and he, you know, does what he wants to do, and he doesn't answer to anybody, you know. Yeah, I really think that's what it is, y'all. And black men so crave proximity to that kind of power. And it doesn't matter about character. It doesn't matter about that. Yeah, it doesn't. And that's a shame. That's a shame. We got to do better. Where is our integrity? Yeah, that's what I want to know. Where is our integrity? How do we look our children in the face? Right? I think that's something very important. Very, very important. And so I think one of the things that we have to do is have an honest conversation about our desires. Culture Call, what you think? I think that we do. What do we really want? What do we really want? Right? Let me read you another opposing view. One person says, we black guy, we like Trump because we know what we're getting. Really? There is no guesswork involved. It's funny how the black community embraced him before the liberal media fabricated racism. I was never a Trump fan, but racism, nah. I'm like, dude, what do you mean? That's not the truth. You don't know what you're getting. What are you talking about? I don't understand. I'm laughing because, you know, I'm sitting here trying to figure out. We know what we're getting. What does that mean? What does that even mean? We know what we are getting. And that's a reason to support, because I know what I'm getting. Yeah, I know he's a murderer, and he didn't think about it. I know what I'm getting. That's why you're going to support a murderer? What? Are we serious? Yeah, I am chiefly flabbergasted and have no understanding of what is going on in terms of the mindset. And that's what I woke up today and I'm trying to figure out, you know, what is going on. You know, why do people say that? Yeah, I think it is important. I think one of the things that it's hard calling people who you like what they are. Can I say that? Culture Call, can I say that? It is hard calling people who you like, or better yet, want to be like or have some level of proximity to. It is very difficult not to cast upon them a shining resume, because what it does, it gives you the leeway to have to look over what that thing is in you that wants to be like that. Does that make sense? I'm going to see if I can put it another way. Let me see if I can break it down a little bit better. So I know this person who I look up to is this evil, wicked thing. But people follow them, and there is a mystique about that. And so because I see that and want to be that, maybe not be the kind of wicked that they are, but I want to have that kind of power and that kind of influence. I want to be able to walk in the room and have people, I want to be able to have that kind of money, right? That's what I want. Okay, so in order for me not to enter into any kind of disparaging thought about who I am and what I desire, I've got to paint that person who I admire and want to have proximity to. I got to give them a glowing resume. I have to say something well about them. I have to begin to measure them differently. And it's a personal, and it's not because they are that, but it's so I won't have to admit to myself that I too wouldn't mind being that individual. That's what it is. And now here it is. Not all black men, but those black men suffer like that, because when you start talking about really what's happening, really what's going on, when you start talking about the facts and XYZ and ABC, right? And see, the reason why he targets the media, because the media starts telling the truth, and the media creates a narrative. And so they feel like, okay, well, in order to have access, because he ain't afraid to kick him out. He ain't afraid to kick him out and nobody say anything, right? So in order for the media to gain access to rallies and interviews, they have to overlook a lot of things. Now, but they'll fuss, on the other hand, that the other person has sat down and done an interview. Well, because we know you're not going to treat me like you treat them. That part. I know you ain't going to do it. Yeah, I know. That is I've seen it in church. Yeah, you want to be that person. You want to be that bishop. You want to be that apostle. You want to be that singer, Grammy Award, Stellar Award singer. You want to be that person. So you'll overlook how they treat people. You'll overlook all of the other extremities and all of the other things that they display, and you will only, oh, they're a great singer. Oh no, that's something that you painting them by. That you'll paint with a very broad brush in the grace and mercy that you will give them, because you are not willing to admit that what they are displaying is really what's inside of you. I feel revival. Yes, Culture Call. That's what it is. That is what it is. And I don't think we need to take away from that. I think we need to face up to that. I think we need to admit that. I think we do. We need to admit that, because until we do, we're going to be right back in the same boat. We're going to be right back in the same boat. And that is, right? And so I'm just trying to figure out how we move in those particular places. Yeah, I want to see how we do that. And when we do that, and we begin to admit to ourselves, you feel me? When we admit to ourselves that, yeah, maybe there's something inside of me that I want to be like them. And then you got to start asking yourself the hard questions. Why? Why do you want to be like them? Why do you want to be like them? What is it about them that causes you to how should I say this? That causes you to, what is it about them you admire? I think that's the best way I can say that. What is it about them that you sorely want to be like? What is it? Yeah. What is that thing inside of you that says, yeah, I think that you are struggling within yourselves for identity. I think that there is something inside of us that's sometimes so void and missing and feels so misplaced that we want to be like those, it's almost like people hate David because in their heart, they really want to be as tall as Goliath. I think that is a human condition that we really need to talk about. They will persecute David and they will let Goliath breathe their threatenings. And that came from David's brothers, by the way. That's biblical, right? Yeah, I think that is something that we really, really need to ask ourselves, why? Because if we miss it, the question becomes, the question becomes, why are we missing it? Why do we feel like there is that to be on Goliath's side is better than standing with David? And why do we have to misappropriate David's resume? Because there is something inside of us that too needs to be overthrown. I said that there's something inside of us that needs to be confronted. There is a human wickedness, a human perversion that really wants to be like the one that gets away with everything. And it's deeply psychological. It is deeply entrenched in our souls and in our minds, in our emotions, in our intellect. Our souls find a delight in that kind of depravity. And that's what it is. That I will give and extend all levels of humanity to the person who I know hates humans. Yeah. To somebody who idolizes Hannibal Lecter. If you ever looked at The Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, you will be like, this man honors him? This man is fascinated with him? That they idolize dictators and people who can poison and have people just rubbed out because you don't agree with what I'm saying. That's who your idols are. That's who you are. And watch this. Not only that, y'all, because it doesn't just stop there. Here it is. And that's who you want to be like? Are we serious? That's who you want to be like? Yeah. That's who you're supporting? That's what it is? Are we serious? That's what we're doing now? Okay. I got you. I don't know what else to say. I mean, real talk. I don't know what else to say, if not that. I don't know what else to because there is something, and let me say this, and this is the problem with American Christianity, because it does not reinforce Romans chapter 12, verse number 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove that which is that good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. It does not require metamorphosis. It does not require change. It requires rules. It requires control. It requires power, and not power of the Holy Spirit to change people from dark to light, but to be able to control who is in the dark and who can be in the light. That's a difference. That's the difference between American Christianity and biblical Christianity, period. That there are people that they just want to control who's able to be in light and what they call light and darkness. They want to be able to tell you that's light and that's dark. And they want to be able to adjudicate where you live. That's not what real Christianity is. Christianity says that there must be a place inside of you that yields to God, that wants to do better, and yields to Christ, that wants to know who you are in God's will, that you can prove it. And that means the lights have turned on. Peter says he's called us out of darkness into marvelous light. That's one or the other. It is not this strange duplicity that wants to control other people's darkness and want to control other people's light. They're luminance. That's not what Christianity is supposed to be. And yet, in this country, we are finding out quickly that that's what it is. That you can be against all of the things and yet do them in the privacy of your own secret closet, thinking that it won't come out. And you will set rules and regulations because you've already established ways that you could skirt around the rules. See, most rule setters are also the same rule breakers. That part. You got to be careful when somebody's telling you this, that. You know, my granddaddy used to tell me, again, I told y'all from a Pentecostal church, my granddaddy used to tell me that a long dress ain't never stopped anybody from getting pregnant. A long dress and no makeup. He said, I don't care how much the preacher got on a clergy collar and a cross in his pocket, it don't stop him from drinking and tipping out on his wife. Because until change comes from the inside, you can dress it up like holiness and righteousness. But until change actually comes from the inside out, until it comes, then there is no change. There is no true change, and they'll be trying to control everybody else with that lack of change, that part. And I think that's very, very important. And we have to understand that. We have to understand that. And if we don't, and if we do not, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. Then how can we literally change the world? Well, I'm just looking out for my house. No, that's not how we made it. When black people say that, I don't care about nobody's house. I'm like, no, that's not how we made it in this country. We made it as community. We made it because Miss Mamie would give you some food and Mr. Billy would give you a couple of dimes, a couple of quarters to get you a cold pop. And protected you in the neighborhood. That's why mom and daddy could leave you with their neighbors, because it was a community, an extended family. This just looking out for my own thing is an anti-biblical concept as well. Because the text in Philippians says that we are not just charged to look out for our own things, but even for the things of others. Just because it's not my child in the middle of the street getting ready to get hit by the Mack truck does not mean I don't have a responsibility to that child that is in the middle of the street. We have to begin not to buy the notions of people who don't understand our context. We have to begin to live true to our God, true to our community, and understand that we are all in this together. Listen, this is the Culture Call with yours truly, L. Spencer Smith, right here. Praise 93.3, 790 WTSK. Don't miss it. There's much more to come.
This is a world premiere.
And we are back right here on the Culture Call with yours truly, L. Spencer Smith. We are having a wonderful conversation, I'm telling you. And I'm between the air and my social media because I'm trying to have this conversation, on the social media. I'm going to see how I can set this place up so I can get because my social media is buzzing. Listen, if you have not done so yet, we are over there popping on Facebook. Absolutely, Facebook. Go ahead and follow The Culture Call. Go ahead over there and follow that. And I'm telling you, we're having this conversation also online while we are on the air. Oh, my goodness. Is there a double standard? Is there a double standard? And there are a lot of people say, well, a lot of black men are saying, well, I like Trump because he's a straight shooter. And he says, X, Y, Z. What? And me. And I was like, okay, what exactly is he straight shooting about? That he can say say anything he wants to. That's not straight shooting. Straight shooting, the term straight shooting, is not just a person that spouts off and says what they want to say. That's ignorance. That's a lack of decorum. Straight shooting is a person who is not fearful in their being very assertive. They tell the truth. They tell it like it is. That is not. Fact check all the newsrooms. You can fact check it yourself. He's not a straight shooter because he doesn't care about what he says. That is not even the definition of a straight shooter. A straight shooter is an individual who is not afraid, regardless of who you are, is to call a thing and tell the truth about everything. There is nothing. I'm so tickled. There is no thing that will say that he is what? A straight shooter. Nothing. Nothing will say that at all. Right. And so I think we're confusing brash and bluntness with straight shooting. And I think that's the confusion. We're having a definitional argument. Beyond that, though, black men got to tell me more than that. And I'm a black man. And the problem is, my daddy used to tell me, listen, I'm raising you up to be intelligent, to be a thinker, to think for yourself, to think out of the box. And just because I am, I really want to, talk in the way that I do, doesn't mean that I am for sale. It just simply means it's got to start beginning to make sense to me. And nothing that he says and or said makes sense to me. Maybe injecting Clorox for COVID makes no sense to me. Eating horse medicine, invectomycin, means that does not mean anything. That doesn't make sense to me. What? Are you serious? And what his cabinet has said when he does not have an audience, when the mic is off. What world leaders know? Now, how you know so much? And the people who sit in the room with him, and like, y'all better not let this man get back in the room. I'm be telling y'all. Now, that's what they are saying. You feel me? That is what they are saying. And that's what they're saying. And so I'm like, what is this straight shooting we're talking about here? Because I want to know what's the straight shooting piece about? You see, because if we can't get to the facts and get to the bottom line and all those other things, then we gonna have an issue. We are going to have an issue. And understand. That's not cosplaying for any one person. That's not me saying, oh, they're the greatest. This individual is great. This individual is XYZ. No. Because we never know. We never know until we see the Congress that they're going to be working with. We never know what the policies and how it's all going to pan out until we find out who the senators are and who the Congress people are. That's what's going to tell us what what they will be able to do. That's it. And I hate that they have taken civics and social studies really out of school, because most people don't know how government works. They don't understand that there are three different branches: the executive, the legislative, the judicial. Right? They don't know that. Right? That's the thing that we are missing. We're thinking that one person does what other people are supposed to do. But yeah, that's straight shooting. I got that online and I was like, straight shooting? What has he straight? What in what area has he straight shot? Am I saying that right? Right? What area has, for real though? What area has he been up and up? What are you talking about? Straight shooting? I'm a little bit disconnected from that. I want to know what it is. And say and be honest what it is. with what it is. He's a straight shooter. Man, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Straight shoot what? Straight shoot what? and again, I'm just trying to get an understanding. The text tells me in all my getting, get an understanding. So here it is. I'm trying to get an understanding. And if we don't do that, then you're no different. You want to be able to say whatever you want to say. Say that and without repercussion. But sir, ma'am, that ain't gonna work for you. It's okay. Okay. If you had 34 convictions, do you think you would be running for president? The answer to that is no. And I'm talking about guilty. Guilty. I saw the verdicts. I was there. I was looking at the TV. I was looking at it when it was coming down. I was like, yo, are we serious? The jury said all of them, all 38 counts. The jury and the other one for the hush money was one. And then the fraud and the scheme was another one. And then he has 59 other cases against him that he's cavorted with judges that he appointed. You know, the one in Judge Eileen Cannon, she talking about the documents. Watch this. And she never says the documents was wrong, him keeping the She said that the government, the Department of Justice, appointed a special prosecutor when they didn't have the right. Well, now, come on. Because you appointed Ken Starr to investigate Bill Clinton. You see what I'm saying? It's cool when it's not them, right? So I mean, but that's going to get overturned. Then you've got the D.C. trial that they're going over right now. Then you've got Fonnie Willis, the election trial, right? That's going on right now, right? And so this whole idea of official duties, it's easy for me. Overturning an election and asking for more votes is not an official duty of a president. Just like rape isn't. Just like theft is not an official duty of the president. Right? We are not slow. But the issue is, y'all, culture call. Here it is. Y'all ready? Okay, good. The issue is, he is somebody I want to be like because I want to have that same level of wickedness just like him. That's what I want. Right. That's what I wanted. I want to be just like him. That's what I want to be. I don't want to be held. I don't want any repercussions. And I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to work that way. It doesn't work that way. What today has been about, and again, they're still blowing up my social media. And I'm listen, this is going to be my next broadcast. I got to go through all this information because they are going on. They are going in. Again, follow me on Facebook, Culture Call, The Culture Call on Facebook. Press that like button, and you can see our question of the day. And they're lighting it up over there. Go ahead and weigh in. Go ahead and weigh in, because I want to know. I want to know, what exactly are we talking about? I want to know. And so, again, it's very difficult. Sometimes people come on my page and they, and they want to argue, and I'm like, okay, but make sure you've done your readings. I don't mind a good spirited debate, but make sure you're coming with the appropriate information. Make sure of that, because I'm going to be like, okay, yeah. Somebody just said, well, they're having abortions, and I unfollowed somebody for that. They're having abortions, free abortions in front of the DNC in Chicago, that they are having free abortions. Wait a minute, stop. Think about it. Think about it. Stop. Don't clutch your pearls yet. Think about it. You've heard that from no news media. Where is that coming from? I'm like, where's the documentation? Where are the police Now, I have heard that they're silenced the Palestinian protesters, which I think is in part wrong. I think that they ought to be allowed to protest. That's not a problem, right? This country was born out of protest. I get it. That's how we got our freedom, out of protest. I get it. But we've heard nothing about that. So where are you getting this from? Where are you getting that information from? And if you don't have a verified, because it's what you're proclaiming is so egregious. What you're proclaiming is so egregious that you should never post it if you don't have a link and if you don't have a YouTube support to what you're saying. You should never post it. Period. You are part of the problem if you don't have verified information. And that's what I'm talking about, a double standard. That's what I'm talking about. That one side is trying to paint the other side as more wicked with no proof. And one side can't even call out the wicked stuff that one does because somebody gets offended. Oh, he's a straight talker. He's a straight shooter. Really? He's a straight shooter until the gun is aimed at you. That part. In Culture Call, we got to begin to open up our minds and start thinking. Pay attention. I keep telling you, pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to thinking. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Let me say this again. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And here was the Bible. He says, because you have rejected knowledge, I also have rejected you. That doesn't mean, that means that not only have I provided you with the way to see it and knowledge so that you'll know what's going on, but you rejected it. No, I don't want to see it that way because this doesn't add to my argument and my point of view. Let us not be ignorant. Let us take our time, not be emotional, and do the research and the study of what we need to do. And let our pure, not just our unchanged, uninformed conscience, but let our pure conscience, and that pure is informed, studied, researched, let our conscience be our guide. Okay? Listen, this is the Culture Call with yours truly. I see the runway. It's time to land this plane, but I got to take a break. Stay right with me.
This is a world premiere.
And we have to leave. Oh, my goodness, Culture Call. I've had so much fun today. So enjoyed talking to you and having this conversation. But listen, never you fret, never you mind. I'll be right back at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to have another conversation. There's so much to talk about. So much affects us in our community, and we need to be paying attention. Absolutely. But listen, at the end of every phone call, my grandmama and mama used to say, I love you a bushel, I love you a peck, and I love you a hug around the neck. This has been your boy, Bishop L. Spencer Smith, right here on the Culture Call. Yeah, Praise 93.3, 790 WTSK. I need you to love intentionally. Hold those closely who you care about. Absolutely. Life is but a vapor, and you just never know. So you want to be intentional every day in how you let people know you care about them. Listen, be at peace as much as you can. Stand for truth and justice, and watch how God will bless your life. Y'all have a good one, a better one, a best one for the rest of the day. Peace out.